There is one letter in the Torah that is broken. It is the Vav of shalom. Shalom means peace. And Pinchas, whose soul becomes Elijah the prophet, is given a covenant of peace, an everlasting covenant, that God gives him the priesthood forever, because he stood up to the ill designs of a great man of Israel, a prince of his people, who went ahead and violated the basic tenets of good character and good behavior publicly, desecrating God's name in the most disgusting way. Pinchas was a man of action, and he was not a man of violence, but there was no choice, and he had to take to violence in order to protect the people. And for this, he is given God's covenant of peace. But the foot of the Vav of Shalom is broken. Why is the foot of the Vav, the only letter in the Torah that officially is broken? Why does the Torah put a letter in and breaks it? And the answer is that as great as Pinchas was, since it took violence to accomplish his ends, it's not complete. It is peace, but not a complete peace. When will it be complete peace? When Pinchas comes as Elijah the prophet, for they share the same soul, to herald in the coming of the Mashiach, and utilizes the same self-sacrifice, the same enthusiasm, the same power and vitality and faith in order to be kind to people and to care for people and to worry about people and to bring them closer to God and to help them wherever and whenever he can. To utilize those same energies and the same powers for goodness, for kindness, for compassion. When that happens, then the Vav of Shalom will be whole. For you see, anything that comes through violence is essentially flawed. Violence sometimes is necessary, but it is still a necessary evil. Violence by itself is not totally good and cannot be totally good. Violence has a harshness to it, and therefore the ways of the Torah are the ways of pleasantry and peace, and ultimately Elijah the prophet has to come along and bring peace and harmony to the world. Elijah the battler, Elijah's the man who took on the prophets of the Baal. Elijah's the man who burnt those captains of the guards who denied God and questioned his power. That same Elijah has to bring peace between father and son, between communities, between peoples. That's the goal. Toward this end, I want to tell you a story. The Rebbe was once among the Hasidim, and the Rebbe complained that the Hasidim were not active in reaching out other people, to bring people and to bring them into the brotherhood of Hasidim. And they complained to the Rebbe that his father-in-law, who was then the Rebbe, had said that if they would study Torah and pray accordingly, they would create a light that would draw people to them. And so far this year, not a single person has been drawn. The Rebbe didn't say anything, took a milk crate, walked out of the Farbrengen of the gathering, went to what is called the Pletzel. It's a plaza where Jewish people would gather during those days in Paris. Stepped on the top of the milk crate and waved a white hanky, and all of a sudden 100 people came around looking at this nice young man waving a white handkerchief. The Rebbe, when he saw that the crowd was sufficient, began to speak in Yiddish, Russian, and French. And he held their attention for about 45 minutes, and then looked at his watch and said, "It's almost time for mincha. There's a shul right down the street. We as Jews should come and participate." About 35 people followed him to shul. And this is a lesson for all of us. For you see, we have to have self-sacrifice. We have to be willing to do the brash and the bold. But it's unnecessary to do so out of violence and anger. One can do the same bold act with the same energy, the same power of soul, through goodness, through kindness, through inviting people in. And that is the role of Elijah the prophet, and that is the role of Mashiach. And when that happens, all the vavs in the Torah will be fixed automatically.